Good day, welcome to the Automotive Dad, and welcome to the 2025 Suzuki Vitara. So the Vitara has been around for a number of years, and I have had a number of Vitara generations to review. And whilst they have been aesthetically upgraded and changed over the years, the bottom line is that it still looks like a Vitara, and it's a shape that you can recognise. Now, this is powered by a 1.4 litre booster jet hybrid all-grip system, which produces 129 PS, 235 newton meters of torque. It's about 10.2 seconds to 62, and top speed of 121 miles an hour. With this paint job, this solar yellow two-tone paint job, this is a £30,000, over £30,000 car. It's a £31,250 car, which seems like a lot of money. But where the previous generation's Suzuki Vitaras were a bit lackluster in their technology, their design of drive, and they were a little bit behind. Where this is a bit more expensive, Suzuki have taken it up a notch. So let's take a look around this Suzuki Vitara, and let's see if this is a great family vehicle from all angles. Starting with the front end, because over a number of years, I have become accustomed to the Vitara shape. And it has been upgraded over the years. The LED light cluster displays have changed. The grille design has changed. A lot of the aero and bumper design has changed, but not too far away from that Vitara design. If anything, aesthetically, it just kind of feels like it's had constant facelifts. It's never been a full regeneration. But that's no bad thing. It's not a bad looking car. The front end is sort of rugged and reliable whilst not being too overly aggressive. I quite like it. With the two-tone paint job this has going on, with the whole solar yellow and black two-tone, it's really nice and gives it a sort of off-road feel by the fact that it has big black area here. The front end just looks pretty nicely designed, quite aesthetically pleasing and not overly sporty. The side profile, in theory, hasn't dramatically changed, but yet it actually has. The lines that are now down the side of this car are very bold and very strong. Nice new design. 17-inch diamond cut alloy wheels with a good amount of meat on them, so you're not too worried about potholes. The two-tone really splits this up quite nicely, so it's not just one big bulky yellow colour. I quite like the side design of this, and it also shows you that it's not a very big SUV. Realistically, this is not that much bigger than a Volkswagen Golf, but yet it is capable of so much more. So I like it. Side profile looks really cool. Finishing with the aesthetics, the rear design, and for me it's the little bit of the letdown, because it feels like it's the area that Suzuki touched the least when it came to the redesigned stick, because realistically this doesn't look too dissimilar from the previous generation or the generation before that. It has had updates, but not in a big way. The light clusters are incredibly similar, but that said, it's not a bad piece of design. It's just, I feel like for a new generation of Vitara, maybe they could have hit it a little bit harder with the redesigned stick. Now, the inside is a genuinely good place to step into. It is comfortable, it's nice. Now, while it's not filled with leather and fancy materials, it's well designed. Things within your reach. The infotainment, for instance, has been upgraded and no longer laggy and a bit behind the times. Something that I've always said about Suzuki. It's nicely upgraded. From the driver's position, all the buttons on the steering wheel are easy to access and are easy to learn, so you're not having to look at what you're doing before too long. The instrument cluster gives you a good amount of information, but isn't overly technologically advanced. And really, that's the big thing for this car, or is it? Is this a car which isn't overly technologically advanced, but actually it has a lot of driver aids, which I'll get into more. The sound system is pretty reasonable. The seats are very comfortable. Huge amount of headroom, even with a massive sunroof. And really, the front's just a nice place to be. That's all there is to it. It's well thought out. It's a good design. Not overly fancy, but rugged and reliable. Now, the space in the rear is more than reasonable. Whilst it's not as big as my previous video, the Cupra Born, For the car's size, it's more than reasonable. You can fit ISOFIX seats back here easily. You can fit 360 seats back here easily. The ISOFIX system in this car is actually a doddle to use. Legroom for full-grown adults is more than acceptable, as is the headroom. The entire cabin space of this car is just very good, very usable, well thought out. And again, the back end doesn't have loads of amenities. There's not even vents back here, but there are cup holders, electric windows. I would like to have seen a single vent back here and maybe a USB charger, but in doing so, I guess they put the price up. So by doing what they've done, it keeps the price lower whilst giving you other technology. And now to the back. The boot space is accessible, it's reasonable, lots of cubby holes, lots of areas to hide things. The only difficulty that I really had is that the actual length of the boot wasn't as good as I would like for a vehicle of this size. I don't really understand where the space has gone, but it's not as big as I would like. The width is more than reasonable. So for any of your normal prams and bits and pieces to go in here, it's easy. Even eye candies will fit in here with a breeze. It's a doddle. If you need more space, you can take this parcel shelf off. And I will add that I drove this hundreds of miles with 3 adults, more luggage than I can possibly comprehend. And we fit it all in. I literally looked at the amount of stuff that had to go in this car and went, there is no way, as good as my Tetris skills are, it's going to go in, and it did. Because the luggage capability, not just in this rear area, but into the cabin area, is very reasonable. So yes, while I would like this area of boot to be slightly bigger, it's more than usable and it's more than acceptable. Now, drive-wise is the very impressive thing. Because ultimately, you think about a Suzuki being a cheaper SUV, the drive should be cheaper, and in actual fact it's not. Whilst it's not silky smooth at all times, it's more than acceptable. The 1.4 litre booster jet engine, whilst not incredibly grunty by itself, is helped by the fact that there is a hybrid system on this, so the low end gives more of a diesel torque input. The 10.2 second to 62 seems incredibly doable. If anything, it's probably a little bit faster. The top speed of 121 miles an hour, definitely it will achieve that. Now, fuel economy wise, this is a car which, depending on your drive cycle and load, can really fluctuate. If you're in heavy traffic, and I mean heavy traffic, in the sun, with aircon pumping on, it's very likely you're going to see under 30 miles to the gallon. Put yourself on a longer road trip, fully packed with lots of people, on hot summer days with aircon blowing at full blast, and you're likely to see 47 miles to the gallon driving normally on motorways. Be very, very careful and get the perfect weather, and this will soar above 50 miles to the gallon, but not every day. To be fair though, for a car of this size, with the fact it's got an all-grip system, you know, 129 PS, but it's not a slow 129 PS. And 235 newton meters of torque, it's got a good grunt, so it doesn't hang around. Put all of that together and suddenly you're like, this is quite acceptable, and I'm pretty impressed by it. The steering input is pretty direct, it's quite nice, not overly smooth. This is not a massively responsive car, and at times it can be a little bit crashy over horrible British road surfaces. But generally it does pretty well at dealing with them. Don't forget though that this is a very capable, not like off-road capable off-road, but it can deal with some more stuff than you would think of something of this A price bracket and B size. I mean, it even has downhill descent control, like proper off-roady stuff. The 6-speed manual gearbox is pretty nice, quite easy to thread around, and the clutch feels quite nice. If you go for the non-hybrid one, I've been well informed that the clutch has pretty much zero feel. But that's kind of part and parcel of little engines. Driver tech though, this has quite a lot. So on top of the fact that it's got radar guided cruise control, forward collision assist, reverse camera, it also has lane keep assist and sort of a semi-autonomous drive mode. Whilst not something that you should completely rely on, it's nice to see that a car of this price point would have so much technology. It knows if you're distracted, because there's a little camera here. And if you go for this spec, this all grip fancy top spec goodness, climate control, automatic headlights, automatic wipers, sunroof, front and rear parking sensors, parking camera, like I've already said. This is a car which has an awful lot of tech, and that's when you start going, oh, okay, that's why it's £30,000. Because it has so much tech in it now, so much tech. Even the keyless entry system is just an extra thing. The drive of this car isn't massively dynamic, but equally isn't so boring that you can't enjoy it. The engine is surprisingly giving when you really push it. And for a 1.4 litre petrol engine to move something of this size is pretty impressive, and to then give you some fuel economy, yeah, this is a car which makes sense in that regards. The drive then is pretty reasonable. Oh, and driving around town, the lock on this thing, it's like a London taxi. Like, I know it's a smaller car, so it can be a bit more moved around towns easily, but this is exceptionally good as a town car. Even though it's a bigger car, exceptionally good. Visibility's good. Yeah, Suzuki have done a good job. So is this a car that is worth every single penny? Yes, within reason it is. £30,000 is a lot of money, but you get an awful lot of car for it and an awful lot of tech. Aesthetically, I would have liked to have seen a bit more of an upgrade, but I think that's going to be coming later on with the e-vitara, Vitara E, the electric Vitara. But this is a very capable car, a very comfortable car, and a very family-friendly car. Monthly deals on these are more than acceptable, even with lower deposits. And my stories always go back to the time that I drove one of these through a snowstorm. And this was back in like 2018, when bigger cars were getting stuck. But the fact that this is such a light car at like 1,380 kilograms, it didn't bog down in the snow, and the all-grip system is extremely good. So it's a very good car. It's a good car for the money, and I strongly advise you to check one out, because even if you think, oh, well, I don't really like Suzuki as a brand, or I want something a bit more luxurious, have a look, because A, the brand is improving year on year, and the luxury part of this, you'll notice it doesn't really matter, because, I mean, A, the kids are going to ruin it anyway, but B, this is very hardy, trustworthy, and reliable. Definitely check it out.